Hello and welcome to Watch Maxie's Watch Videos. My name is Axel and I'm glad to have you on the show. It's again time for a new watch. It arrived today and I'm so glad it's finally there. It's my Circula Supersport. I ordered it, the pre-order phase started in September and I ordered it directly, and since then I've been waiting to get it onto my table, on my wrist, be able to wear it and do my 1 week video, and now it's time to do exactly that. We have Monday about 10 past 6, day 1 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Circula Supersport is on my wrist. A real gorgeous watch. I really do look forward to wearing it the next week, including the Christmas days, Boxing Day, and so on and so forth. In Germany, the 24th is kind of the most important day, not the Boxing Day or the 26th. And I'm going to take quick shots on any of those days with my family or without. And one thing I would like to share with you right now is the really great backside of the watch. A really crystal clear motif, nicely done, absolutely great, and I really do look forward to wearing the watch and most probably switching to the steel bracelet pretty soon, since this is going to be my watch for a steel bracelet and not on the high quality rubber. It's Monday night, it's about 11:45, and I've been out walking my dog Motte, and here you can see my dog. One of her favorite hobbies, licking my hand. And it was quite good that I was out with my dog, because I had an experience about the loom. When I first saw it, I was kind of disappointed, because the loom on the dial wasn't that bright, but in total pitch darkness, like on the field I was just a minute ago, it is very bright, and I think that is due to the sandwich dial. I think it's going to be an interesting topic, and I'll touch base on that over the week. It's a Tuesday morning, it's about 9:10, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. Overnight it was good with the loom. Actually, I could read it perfectly. And oh, by the way, it's really cold here. We have -4 degrees. I don't know whether you can see it on the cam. So it's actually really cold. Coming back to the loom. It was absolutely great. I could perfectly read it throughout the night, and I tried to give you some better shots over the week. And by the way, yesterday I switched over to the steel bracelet, because that's the way I want to wear that watch. It's Tuesday, day 2 of my 1 week on the wrist. We have about 11:15, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. It is a great watch. I really love the design. However, there are 2 points which I would like to mention, which I have wished, or which I could think could have been better, although I knew that they are the way they are. So that's not a complaint, it's just a remark that I actually could think of improvements in these 2 points. One point is related to the bracelet. It is a good bracelet, absolutely nothing to complain in this price area. However, I personally like bracelets which taper down at the downside of the wrist to facilitate movements of the wrist, and it's much more comfortable to me. And here we have a 20mm steel bracelet which is not tapered down. The clasp is really solid. It's not an extremely big nor an extremely small clasp. It's just more or less standard sized clasp. And with that, I would have preferred 18 or maybe 16mm on the downside of the wrist just to increase my personal comfort of the watch on the wrist. And the second point is something which I actually have expected to be the way it is, and that's the readability in the, I call it in-between time, and the time between the time where there is sufficient light to make the hands reflect some light and the time where the lume is activated. The silverish hands with the yellow greenish lume on a silver dial doesn't give the best contrast, and it makes the watch pretty precious, to look pretty precious. However, when it comes to readability in low light situations, it is actually not the best. And let me just trim down my ring light and show you what I mean. That's the lume is not activated, and depending on how I turn the watch, it is not totally easy to read, but that's exactly the way I expected it. So that's not a complaint, it's just a remark, and it by no means changes my positive impression of the watch. It's Wednesday morning, it's about 9 o'clock, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. I was just bringing my dog away to their play group, and it's freaking cold. It's -6 degrees. At least it's dry and not wet, so it's okay, but it's not really my weather, to be honest. Yesterday, one of my subscribers left a comment under my unboxing video, which is on my German channel. And he said he loves the watch. It's a great watch, gorgeous watch. However, the readability is not the best. It's kind of a bright stealth. And yes, he's right. It's a silverish stealth mode. But I do like the watch. It's really a great one. And yeah, the readability is not the best, but the watch looks absolutely great. Coming to Christmas, I don't know whether you have the same issue. Whenever it comes to Christmas, we have a planning issue, planning back and forth, aligning appointments, families, dates. And since my wife and we live in the Frankfurt area of Germany, but we come originally from the Rhine area, which is 250 kilometers away. Our friends, families, relatives all live in that area, so we usually travel to that area over Christmas. And we have to plan whom we meet, when and where and how long and who is doing what and all this kind of stuff. And this year we got to do this too, but we planned something special, and I really look forward to it because I hope I can show you Friday, Saturday some very special shots, and I really look forward to it. Let's see what this day may bring. It's Wednesday, day 3. We have about 5 minutes past 11, and the Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. Well, actually, it's not so often that I have a summary or a partial summary on the third day, which I think will not change too fast or so soon. And that's, I do like the watch. It's a comfortable watch, except the bracelet, which I would have preferred to narrow down on the clasp side. But it's extremely comfortable. It's a nice watch. It's a gorgeous looking watch. However, for me, I think it's gotta be more a kind of a weekend watch rather than a watch which I would take to a 3 weeks vacation without having any other watch to switch or to change. And that's just because of the limited readability. Over the weekend from Friday to Sunday, I have no issue to have a longer look to the watch or to slightly turn my wrist and read the time. Luckily, I have one watch or another to change, so I don't totally depend on this watch. And I still like it, and it was a conscious decision. I kind of feared that the watch would be readable that way, and it happened as expected, so perfectly fine for me. But it's just a summary which became clear to me on the third day already. Yeah, it's Thursday, day 4 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. Right before I did this shot here, I took some footage of the dial to show you what I think about the dial, why I am fascinated by the dial, and why in certain angles the readability suffers a bit from that. And while I talk, you see the dial, and you can see it changes depending on the light and the angle you look at. You have the silverish dial and the silver hands combined with the light lume, which doesn't create the best contrast, but it changes the appearance whenever you turn the watch a little bit. Sometimes you see the step dial or sandwich approach of the dial with the lume a little bit deeper than the dial. The lume sometimes appears very, very light, nearly cream white, then it's yellow and greenish. Depending on how you turn the watch, it appears different in any angle, and that's something I really, really do appreciate. And the more I appreciate that, you have to look at the watch for a little bit longer. It's not quite obvious at the first glance. You see, the longer you look at the watch, you see, oh, that's nice. Oh, I haven't noticed that before. And it itches, sorry. And yeah, I do like that very much. Other watches, they are in quotation marks loud, and you directly see what is interesting on the watch, and that's pretty fine. But I also like watches where the interesting part comes step by step over a little bit longer time. I really do like it, and this watch for me obviously belongs into that category. So you see quite a number of things which you may have noticed but not on a conscious level in a first step, and over time you see, oh yeah, that's why I think it's interesting. And oh, another point I haven't been able to put into words before, but no, I know what I noticed. No, I know what I noticed. Oh. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, and that's why I really do like the watch. It's Thursday. It's day 4 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Circula Supersport is still my wrist. I don't think you can see it. Oh, you can see it a little bit. Tomorrow is the day before Christmas, and unfortunately plans have changed again. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm going to tell you tomorrow what I had planned, show you some pictures from the internet. So yeah, I'm still happy with my watch. That's the most important thing. However, I'm a little bit disappointed that I can't do what I planned to do. Well, let's see what tomorrow comes. Today, it's right now it's about 10 o'clock. I'm walking the dog. I show you some pictures over here, and let's see what the next days will bring. It's Friday, day 5 of my 1 week on the wrist, and the Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. It's December 24th, which means in Germany that's the main day for Christmas. So I'm going to take only this shoot today. The afternoon and the evening is dedicated to my wife, so we are spending the time together, and I'm not going to interrupt that with a footage to take. Today I'm a little bit disappointed because the initial plan was to visit my father-in-law, and he declined that appointment because it was too much for him. He's an elderly man, so are my parents, and in order not to harm them too much, we booked a hotel, and I'm a supporter of Borussia Mönchengladbach, and we booked a hotel directly in or at their stadium, and I was really, really looking forward to it. You see some pictures, some footage of that here. Since my father-in-law declined, we cancelled that hotel because it wasn't really on the cheap side, to put it this way. So we're staying at home, enjoying the day together, and that's it. On Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to take some more footage, and giving my summary on Sunday, but I already told quite a lot about the Circula Supersport, a great watch. I don't regret having bought it, although it fulfills one of my main criteria, which is good readability, only partially. One good thing today, according to the tracking app, my new camera should arrive today, so hopefully I will be able to take better footage next year. I'm going to be clearer, if you like it or not, and hopefully I'm going to be able to make better footage of the watches I present. It's Friday, it's the 24th of September, we have close to 12. My Circula Supersport is still on my wrist, and actually I didn't want to take any footage today, this evening, but I felt I needed to do so because I have a new camera. I have the Sony ZV-E10 with the 16-50mm kit lens, and I was so curious to see if it works and how it works and if I really can obtain some improvement with that. So this is why I actually took this particular footage. The headphone is on not because I think it looks cool, maybe it looks cool, but I don't care about that. It's about to monitor the audio level and see if I'm on the right level, and to level it out a bit. If I have more experience with that, I'm pretty sure I don't need the headphones any longer. It's day 6 of my 1 week on the wrist, December 25th, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. Today we're going to see my parents, my sister, my niece, which means we will be on the road for about 6 hours, 580 kilometers. But I really look forward to it. We drive this morning, we come back later the afternoon or early evening, and I really look forward to this family Christmas day. The Circula Supersport is on my wrist, and I really do like it. I like it more from day to day, and I get used to the limited readability. Of course, it is a difference if I have my U1 with this high contrast on my arm, but the Supersport is a really comfortable watch, which is, by the way, really good to read at night without any activation by a separate external light. That was a point where I wasn't quite sure at the beginning, but it is really a good watch at night. It's Saturday, day 6 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Circula Supersport is still on my wrist. We're just back from my family today, Boxing Day. We visited my family for Christmas, the whole family, which means we're in total 7 people only. We are vaccinated, we have the booster vaccination, we have been tested, so all within the Corona and COVID rules. And it has been the first time this year that we all met together, so I really enjoyed it. No one actually noticed that I have a new watch on my wrist, so no one asked me, what about the Circula Supersport? And I was not surprised by this, because I change so often my watches that at least my family doesn't ask me really what's on my wrist. When we came home, I had a little surprise at my door. Within our house here, we prepare for our neighbors some small and nice presents during the Christmas time. It starts around mid of December till Christmas. Not very expensive, some sweets or other little things just to make the day better. And today I had some really nice gifts in front of my door, and my neighbor obviously knows about my YouTube channel and watches it, because he knows I have the channel and he knows I love coffee. And these are the 2 pieces which have been right in front of my door. So this is not a merch of mine. It has been just prepared for me, and I really loved it, and it really made my day better. Well, it's day 7 of my 1 week on the wrist, and my Circula Supersport is, of course, still on my wrist. Day 7 always is the day to wrap up a little bit and phrase my final thoughts. I didn't talk too much about the clasp and that I missed one special aspect of the bracelet. So let's touch base on the clasp. The clasp is a pretty solid one, and the folding mechanism is also a very solid one. No cheap steel sheet, really solid. You have a folding mechanism with a pusher system, which I really like. You have the fold over security clasp, pretty nice. And you've got 6 holes of a fine adjustment. Really nice, I like that. The bracelet itself is linked together with screws. However, the screws are really tiny screws. I have quite a number of screw drivers. However, none of those which I typically use for my Archimede bracelets, my Zinn bracelets, and other bracelets did not fit because they were too big. So I had to search for quite some while in my cupboard to find the smallest and tiniest screwdriver which fitted the bracelet. So if you consider to buy the watch and to buy it on a bracelet, and Cornelius from Circula offers to deliver a screwdriver, say yes, take it. There are quite some chances that you don't have a fitting screwdriver in your portfolio already. Overall, I can say I really do like the watch. I don't regret having bought it. It's a really nice and bright dial with very interesting, though decent changes depending on the angle you look at it. It's not always perfect in terms of readability. However, it's very interesting from many angles, so I really do like the watch despite the fact that readability is not the best one. And that was my thought. I would really be interested in read in the comments what you think about the watch if you consider buying one. And by the way, with the 40mm, it's a really present watch. It's not too thin. It is from the appearance bigger than 40mm, so it might fit on bigger wrists as well as on slimmer wrists. Pretty versatile watch as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Stay safe, enjoy your watches, and look forward to my new videos and the watch year 2022 in general. Cheers, Axel.